Ladies and gentlemen, at the age of 10, I decided that politics was my aspiration and calling. All that was left was the formal route to getting there. Fortunately, I came along at a time and an age when there was the welcoming air of majority rule and independence. I knew that I could not be prime minister, first this or first that, but those roles would be played by others who were first in time or more fit and proper. But the role that my generation and type would play was that of filling in the backspaces, fleshing out the project called Abolition of Slavery, Majority Rule, Uplifting Our African Heritage, and National Independence. Fortunately, again, there were men and women who saw the vision and the need to pass on their examples to the next generation. 7 of them have been declared national heroes of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, a country that is only 51 years old today. With 2 exceptions, I knew each of them. My message, therefore, is that the project is not done, and we have miles to go before we sleep. I hope that the younger ones looking on today get the message, and they too will pass it on. The 7 people who are considered national heroes of our Commonwealth are Dame Doris Johnson, Sir Lyndon Pinling, Sir Cecil Wallace Whitfield, Sir Roland Simonet, Sir Randall Fox, Sir Milo Butler, and today we add Kate Moss, more popularly known as Poor Black Kate. Then there are the hundreds of other Bahamians, including many of you here today, who are being honored for their different levels of contributions to our national development, and I say congratulations to you all. These awards came into being in 2016 by Act of Parliament. There's an advisory committee. They were meant and are meant to end foreign honors for Bahamians who have given much to their country. The Act left a dual system of honors in place, which must come to an end in time. I've often asked why the country is not a republic, as it should have become in 1973. I say that the answer lies in the history of the struggle for independence. It was a compromise made by Sir Lyndon Pinling and his colleagues to make independence a less frightening idea, more acceptable to many who feared that the changes would mean catastrophe, even though we had in fact been running our own affairs since the settlement of these islands way back in the 17th century, and certainly since 1964. So, a constitutional fiction was designed to keep the peace. It will take other generations to complete that project. But today, you are part of that journey. Your fellow citizens have honored you and your deceased family members for doing things that make for peace and build up the common life. I wish to thank the members of the advisory committee who sorted through the thousands of applications and gave the appropriate advice to the Prime Minister according to law. The highest honor to a Bahamian is that of National Hero, but that category is so specifically defined that there is a limiting factor. Some people have indicated that limits should be set on the numbers in other categories. This, of course, will have to be adjusted by law. The members of the committee are myself, Shannon Cartwright, Member of Parliament who represents the opposition, Senior Madam Justice Camille Darville Gomez, Granville Adderley, who is a Senior Commander of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, Janet McKenzie, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Francis Carey, everybody knows him as Swelly, Assistant, who's the Central Bahamas Representative, Governor Harvey Luthra, Constance McDonald, Attorney at Law and KC, Anita Colley-Vidisha, who's from Acklands and Crooked Island, Dr. Keith Tinker, A. Maxine Duncombe, who's the Secretariat at the Cabinet Office, Monica Moss, also at the Cabinet Office, Nicole Ferguson Forbes at the Cabinet Office, Permanent Secretary Jack Thompson, Cleome Turner, and Idris Reed, also of Government House. However, I want to say that the currency so far of these awards has not been diminished as far as observations can tell. The recipients and their families and the community at large seem pleased with them as a recognition of worth to their country. The British limit numbers, and some have suggested that this is a practice to follow to protect the integrity of the awards. But in this national project, we still have a lot of catching up to do, and the demand for the awards exceeds right now the supply. In Malaysia, where the highest award is Tun, or the second highest award is Tan Sri, there is also a limit as well. These matters are going to be considered going forward. However, today, I look forward to this day and the smiles, the tears, the looks of satisfaction, the gratitude on the faces of family and friends and the country at large on what Sir Gerald Cash would have described as this magnificent occasion. I want to mention in particular, and forgive me for calling out these separate names, Dr. Franklin Joaquin. We are soldiers in Loftus Roger's army since 1982 and have bonded in public life since then. I mentioned Bishop Carrington Pinder, who served for a generation in the Fox Hill community where he is admired, and he joins the ranks of Order of the Bahamas, having attained the high office of General Superintendent of St. John's Church of Particular Baptists. And Idris Reed, the permanent secretary and the architect of the actual legislation that governs these awards. Finally, in this regard, I want to mention Reverend Canon Sebastian Campbell, who led the non-governmental organization which was founded by me in 1991, called the National Heroes Committee. It took from 1991 to 2016 to get the job done, and he was relentless in doing so. Those gentlemen and all the other gentlemen who have received the award of Companion of Order of the Bahamas at the highest rank are entitled to be called Right Honorable, and congratulations to them. In that regard, I mention today my late friend and brother Terence Bethel, who was there all the way, or more politically correct, every step of the way. He's now a blessed memory, as is Maxwell Turner. And those who are yet alive are Loretta Butler Turner, who first mooted the idea of a national holiday, former MP Code Smith, Freddie Munnings Jr., Vanda Moss, Reverend C.B. Moss, the late Al Dillette, who was honored last year, and I want to thank all of them. The journey continues today. We have miles to go before we sleep. This is not America, and this is not the United Kingdom. This is the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Every day, we must fight for our identity in small things and in big things, at the United Nations and here at home. We drive on the left. We spell honor, H-O-N-O-U-R. We write the date, 14th October 2024, not October 14th, 2024. We drink Cereseed to stop the flu. We light the skylark. We come in soon directly. We reverse back. We walk on the streets even when it's spraying. As the late Sir Charles Carter used to say, these are Bahamians. My congratulations to you all. God bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my proud honor to present to you the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Philip Edward Brave Davis. Please stand.
Good morning, and please all be seated. I adopt the protocol that has been established, and just lend my voice to the chorus of saying good morning to all. It is a privilege to join you today as we gather to celebrate individuals who have not only shaped our nation, but continue to inspire us toward greater achievements. The people we honor this morning embody the spirit of the Bahamas, the resilience, dedication, and unwavering commitment to progress that has carried us through our 51 years of independence. Each one of our honorees tells a story of hard work, of service, and of the determination to uplift others. These are not just individual accolades. They represent the shared spirit of our people. They remind us that the greatness of the Bahamas lies not only in its natural beauty, but in the strength of its people who consistently rise to the challenges before them. As we reflect on the remarkable contributions of the 355 plus one individuals, we are honoring today, we are reminded that their accomplishments are not isolated. They are a reflection of what we can achieve as a country when we commit ourselves to a common goal, when we are driven by a sense of purpose, and when we believe in the possibilities that lie ahead. From education to healthcare, from the arts to public service, these honorees have enriched every corner of our society. They have left lasting legacies that remind us of the power of dedication and rewards of perseverance. Their stories are woven into the fabric of our nation, and they serve as a guiding light for future generations. Today, as we confer the Order of Distinction, the Order of Merit, and the Distinguished Service Medal upon those deserving individuals, we recognize not only their personal achievements, but the ideals they represent. These national honors are a testament to the belief that Bahamian excellence deserves to be celebrated, that our heroes are worthy of the highest recognition, and that we must take every opportunity to uplift those who have made significant contributions to our country. 8 years ago, we introduced these honors as a way to formally acknowledge the extraordinary contributions of Bahamians. In doing so, we affirm that our country's greatness is measured not only by global standards, but by our ability to honor those who have made the Bahamas what it is today. It is through recognizing our own that we truly grasp the depth of our national pride and our national identity. Consider, for example, the legacy of Amos Ferguson. His paintings didn't just depict our lives, they captured the essence of who we are, from the vibrancy of Jonquil to the spirit of our everyday experiences. Or take Mary Ingram, who dedicated her life to fighting for women's rights, pushing our society forward in a way that reverberates to this day. And who could forget Sir Randall Fawkes, whose fight for labor rights secured dignity for generations of Bahamian workers. These are just a few of the giants on whose shoulders we stand, and today's honorees continue that proud tradition. These individuals have not only helped to build our nation, they have provided us with a roadmap for what is possible. Their achievements challenge us to think about the kind of future we want to create and how we can continue to improve the lives of every Bahamian. Friends, our gathering today goes beyond bestowing honors. It is about reaffirming the values we cherish as a nation: hard work, unity, service, and a deep commitment to the betterment of our people. These values are what have sustained us through challenges and what will propel us forward as we face the opportunities and obstacles for the future. As this morning concludes, we recognize that each person we honor today carries a story that reflects the kind of country we are and the heights we can reach when we stand firm in our beliefs. These honorees teach us lessons of resilience, courage, and the power of determination. Their stories remind us that we must never forget the sacrifices made to move our nation forward, and that in each of us there is the potential to contribute to the greater good of the Bahamas. One of the most poignant stories we recognize today is that of Kate Moss, a former slave who received the Order of National Hero posthumously. In the 1820s, Kate was a young house slave in Crooked Island, said to be around 12 years of age, under the ownership of Henry and Helen Moss, accused of theft, insubordination, and insolence. Kate faced brutal punishment for standing up against the injustice of slavery. She refused to comply with degrading orders, an act of defiance that ultimately cost her life. Her death became a rallying cry for abolitionists in England and helped fuel the growing demand for the abolition of slavery worldwide. Kate Moss's courage and refusal to submit to tyranny made a lasting impact not only on the history of the Bahamas, but also on the global fight against slavery. Her story serves as a powerful reminder of the strength found in standing up for what is right, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Poor Black Kate, as she was known. The National Honors Committee recognizes Kate for her bold defiance against the inhumanity of slavery and her enduring legacy of courage. As we reflect on her life and the lives of all our honorees, may we be inspired to learn from their example and continue the work of building a more just and united country. In closing, I extend my deepest thanks to the National Honors Committee for their hard work and dedication, its chairman, Minister Fred Mitchell, and others. I also express my gratitude to everyone involved in organizing this wonderful morning. Your efforts have ensured that we can gather in this beautiful celebration of our national heroes. I continue to be confident, united in purpose, and driven by the belief that there is nothing we cannot achieve. May God bless you all, and may He continue to bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Please let us give Prime Minister another round of applause for his kind words. We are pleased to have with us today one of the Bahamas' finest soloists, and she is very talented. Before we proceed with the investiture, it is my pleasure to invite Ms. Aliyah Coley to come at this time with her item. Ms. Coley. You can give her a round of applause. That's appreciated, Ms. Coley.
A pleasant good morning, everybody. How's everyone today? Congratulations to all of the honorees. The song that I'm doing today speaks of how good, and I'm sure you all can attest as to how good God has been in your lives. I hope that you do enjoy. I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. Oh, yes, you have. And all my life you have been so, so good. And every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire. In darkness, how held me closer than no other. I know you as a father, and I know you as a friend, and I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been so faithful. Oh, yes, you have. And all my life you have been so, so good. And every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Y'all can sing along if you know it. Come on now. See, your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. with my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything, oh Lord. Say your goodness is running out. It's running out to me. I want to hear y'all sing. Yes. Oh, your goodness is running. Come on now. Hey, with my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Yeah. Your goodness is running out. It's running out to me. Yes, it is. And all my life you have been faithful. That's right. And all my life you have been so, so good. And every breath I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Oh, you have been so faithful. Oh, yes, you've been faithful, Lord. And all my life, you've been so good. And every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God.
For that kind of singing at this hour of the day, and knowing when to go up and come down the way she did it, I think you should give her another round of applause. So that's that from us. She's done very well. And whether you've been in the service of our country for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you know it's the goodness of the Lord. Amen. Thank you very much. Most appropriate. Your Excellency, I beg leave at this time to proceed with the investiture of the various categories of honors. And so it is my honor, Your Excellency, to invite you to preside over the investiture at this time. The Order of the Nation, as mentioned earlier, goes to Kate Moss, former slave, posthumously, who symbolizes social justice and poster for slave abolition, forced laborer. And so we remember her at this time and her work. I should like to invite the band, please, to just play some nice, good music. Band, would you? We start with the Order of the Bahamas, Level 1, Companion. All of our honorees who receive the Order of Companion today will hereafter be referred to as the Right Honorable. Subaltern B. Bethel, Public Service, former Permanent Secretary, Minister of Religion. The late Bradley Roberts, posthumously, we remember his life of politics and former cabinet minister. Bishop Carrington Samuel Pinder, Minister of Religion. We remember today Cyril St. John Stevenson for his work in politics, Member of Parliament, and co-founder of the Progressive Liberal Party, Cyril St. John Stevenson. Unable to be with us today, but he's represented, the Honorable Frank Howard Watson, recognized for his work in politics, former Deputy Prime Minister, former Cabinet Minister, the Honorable Frank Watson. Dr. Franklin Wilberforce Joaquin, honored and recognized for his work in health services, medical doctor retired. Frank Wilberforce Joaquin. Mr. Idris Reed, former permanent secretary, and being recognized for his hard work with our national honor system. Reverend Father James Bertram Moultrie is unable to be with us today, but he's being recognized for his work in education, politics, religion, former parliamentary secretary, Anglican priest, and chairman of the Public Service Commission. Reverend Father James Moultrie. Bishop Leish Boyd, religion, Bishop of the Anglican Diocese of the Bahamas, and for his community work, Bishop Leish Boyd. Honorable Neville Wisdom, politics, and former cabinet minister. Kenan S. Sebastian Campbell, for his work in religion, national honors, and majority rule day. Clerk in Holy Orders, Anglican Diocese. Bishop Walter S. Hanchel, Minister of Gospel, philanthropist, humanitarian. Ladies and gentlemen, Bishop Walter Hanchel rounds off our Order of the Bahamas, Level 1 Companion. They're all referred to as the Right Honorable. Let's give all of our honorees in that first grouping a round of applause. Order of the Bahamas Officer. We recognize in memory Mr. David Alexander Knowles, politics and trade unionist. Yes, you may proceed, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we remember Mr. Robert Love for his work in health services, religion, former Anglican priest. Please proceed. Ladies and gentlemen, please give the two honorees the level of officer in the order of the Bahamas a round of applause. Those two would be David Knowles and Robert Love. We now continue with Order of the Bahamas. We move to the third level, and the third level, these persons are members in the Order of the Bahamas. Mr. Basil O'Brien. Public Service and former Secretary to the Cabinet, Mr. Basil O'Brien. We remember former Secretary to the Cabinet, Herbert C. Joaquin. Public Service and for his work as former Secretary to the Cabinet. We remember at this time, posthumously, Mrs. Margaret McDonald. For public service and first female Secretary to the Cabinet. We recognize Mr. Wendell Major, former Secretary to the Cabinet. Mrs. Anita D. Hilton Bernard, former Secretary to the Cabinet. Ms. Camille Johnson, former Secretary to the Cabinet. Mr. Charles William Major Sr. We remember him today posthumously for sports, former coach, and Hall of Famer. I know. We remember Donald McKinney, politics, law, an attorney at law. Donald McKinney. Who's that? We remember Ethelyn Isaacs, the late Ethelyn Isaacs, public service, and the first female financial secretary. Mr. Franklin Kennedy McPherson Williams, the Judiciary Courts, prosecutor, magistrate, attorney at law. They're not in order. We will round off this in 2 minutes. Please welcome Justice Indira Nicole Demerit Francis for her work with the justice system, Industrial Tribunal. Representing Selenet Joseph Knowles, Judiciary, Courts, Consul, Attorney, and Supreme Court. We remember him at this time. Please give a round of applause to Ms. Estelle Evans. And that should read Ms. Estelle G. Gray Evans, Judiciary, Courts, and Justice. Mm-hmm. Good. These are not in order. These are not in order. Yeah. We remember Maxwell James Thompson, also in the area of the judiciary, courts, consul, attorney, and Supreme Court judge. We remember posthumously Patricia Fountain Lady Isis, public service, and who also served on occasions deputy to the Governor General. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to those persons who serve as members. Order. Order of Excellence. We welcome Mr. James Lawlaw. Education, educator, historian. Mr. John Joseph Issa, hospitality, businessman, hotelier. Yes. So under the Order of Excellence, we recognize today Mr. James Lawlaw and Mr. John Joseph Issa. Let us give both of those gentlemen a round of applause. We move now to the Order of Distinction. The Order of Distinction. We recognize at this time the Reverend Dr. Albert Sidney Ferguson. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause. Dr. A. Missouri Sherman Peter, the Order of Companion. I don't think she's with us. I don't think so today. So we go to Mr. Alfred Adderley. Miss Antoinette Barnaby. Miss Antoinette Barnaby. Bahamas Government Legal Advisor, Law Reform, and Director of Legal Affairs. I don't know who she is. Mrs. Audrey Eloise Major-Rowe. Health Services. And I see here nurse. Okay. We have a representative for Anthony Alfred Adderley, yes, from the Customs. Miss Barbara Zonical. Miss Barbara Zonical, having worked with the audit and now the Accountant General, also known as the Treasurer. Mrs. Barbara Carey Burrows. Permanent Secretary, retired, and having served in the public service. Mrs. Belinda Magdalene Wilson, education, trade unionist and educator. Deputy Controller of Customs, Burchanal A. Bethel. Mrs. Bernadette Thompson Murray. Deputy Commissioner at the Department of Corrections. Caleb Bernard Osborne Hearburn, posthumously remembered today. Mr. Calvin Balfour, Public Service, former Permanent Secretary. Mr. Carl Francis Smith, Public Service, former Permanent Secretary. Mr. Charles Christopher Albury, Public Service, former Permanent Secretary. Mr. Charles James Turner is not here today. Mrs. Cheryl Marie Darville, Public Service, former Permanent Secretary. Mr. Colin Leslie Higgs, Public Service, former Permanent Secretary, presently. Miss Colleen Nottage, Public Service, former Permanent Secretary. Mr. Cresswell Stirrup, Public Service, Permanent Secretary. Miss Cynthia Lorraine Duvalier, social worker, Deputy Director in the Department of Social Services. Miss Cynthia Gibbs, Public Service, former Permanent Secretary. We take a break after this line is completed. Miss Diana Lightbourne, Public Service, former Permanent Secretary. Mr. Don Clare, Commissioner of Correctional Services. Deputy Controller of Customs, Mr. Earl H. Seymour. Mr. Seymour. Commissioner of Correctional Services, retired, Mr. Edwin Culmer. We remember the work of the late Elicum George Moss, posthumously. Miss Elise Delancey, former Permanent Secretary. Having worked in the public service. We recognize Dr. Davison Herburn, former diplomat, senior public officer, and the former permanent secretary. Your Excellency, we take a 5-minute break, a 2-minute break. Thank you, Excellency. Let's give Her Excellency a round of applause, please. You could do better than that. I mean, we're giving a round of applause to Her Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no shortage of talent within the Isles of the Bahamas. We're so delighted to have with us today Miss Candice Boswick, who is known for her wonderful singing. Put your hands together and welcome the phenomenal Miss Candice Boswick. Miss Boswick.
Good morning. Just here to give you a little respite between these honors. Congratulations to the honorees.
Climb every mountain, search high and low, follow every byway, every path you know. Climb every mountain, forge every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream, a dream that will need all the love you can give every day of your life for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, forge every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream, a dream that will need all the love you can give every day of your life for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, forge every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your
I told you so. I told you so. We have a deep bench in the Bahamas when it comes to singing, the arts. Let's give it up one more time, please, for Miss Candice. Well done. We continue now to follow our program as printed, the names in our program. Your Excellency, shall we continue, please, with your leave? We continue the presentations. The question everyone asks is how long we're going to be here. And so we're trying our best, and Her Excellency is so gracious, and we're trying to move the program along. So just bear with us a little while. We're doing good time. We continue with the background music, and we continue with our presentations. Ambassador Ellison, Dr. Ellison Rami, if he is with us, we'd like to just continue. Ms. Elma Garraway, Ms. Emily Monique Williams, Dr. Ernest John Bowe. You could bring Dr. Bowe this way, please. You can come this way. It's next on the list. Just come this way. You can just come this way, yes. Let's give E.J. Bowe, as we know him, another round of applause as he makes his way up to Her Excellency. We remember him very well. And we're so grateful that all of our honorees, most of our honorees, made it out today. So we salute Mr. E.J. Bowe at this time. Ms. Eugenia Cartwright is a representative here for Ms. Yes? Ms. Cartwright having served as treasurer as well. And in the accounting field for many years. Mr. Franklin Augustus Butler, the second. I hardly recognize you with that hat on today. Miss Emily Williams. You threw me off there. Mr. Garnet Frederick Notes. Having served in the area of finance, and in the Treasury Department. Dr. Glenn Samuel Benaby, having served in the medical profession, Chief Medical Officer, retired. Bishop Godfrey Randolph Williams. Bishop Williams serves as senior pastor, and he's being recognized for his work in the area of religion. Mr. Harcourt Victor Brown, former permanent secretary, and having served in various departments in the public service. We remember posthumously the work of the late Harold Munnings. Harold Munnings, who served in the public service and who served as former permanent secretary as well. Reverend Harrison Thompson served as former permanent secretary as well. Mrs. Hyacinth Winder Pratt, having served in the work of public service, former permanent secretary. Mrs. Irene Patricia Clark Stubbs, having served in the various areas in public service and former permanent secretary. The Reverend Dr. Ivan Ford Butler, Jr., is recognized for his work in religion, social work, and outreach programs. Mr. James Allardyce Campbell. Education, Family Island Development, former Chief Housing Officer. Mr. James Anthony McKinney, recognized for his work in the public service, former permanent secretary. Let us give a round of applause to all of our Order of Distinction companions. We shall continue with several more. Mrs. Janine McCartney. Ms. Janine McCartney in the area of public service and also served as permanent secretary. We remember former Controller of Customs, Japhet Edison Delaveau. Miss Jeanette Bethel, Public Service and former Permanent Secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, your round of applause dropping off now. Mr. Joshua Sears, having served in the public service and former permanent secretary. I think we have a representative from Mr. John Addington Road. Kelsey? Oh, okay. So, Miss This Kelsey Dorset. Yes, this is Kelsey Dorset. We thank the honorees for their representatives who they've asked to represent. We are grateful. Mr. Larry Demerit? Yes? Mr. Larry Demerit is recognized for sports and the Kentucky Derby. Mrs. Leanza Elizabeth Gardner Keju. For her work in the public service, who also served as permanent secretary. We honor at this time Mistress Leela Green for her work, public service, and former permanent secretary. The late Leona Jane Brown Fernanda Samuda. Let's give a round of applause, please. Education, field of education. Mr. Luther Emerson Smith. He's not with us, but his daughter is here to receive. Mr. Smith serves as permanent secretary. Miss Macy M. Evans. Ms. Evans served in various aspects of the public service, including the Office of Permanent Secretary. Mr. Marco Roll, public service, having also served as permanent secretary. Your Excellency, should it pleases you at this time, the Royal Bahamas Police Force Band can render an item at your pleasure. Yes, thank you. We take a few minutes break. Police Band.
Can I say thanks for the things you have done for me? Things so undeserved, yet you gave to prove your love for me. The voices of a million angels cannot express my gratitude. All that I am and ever hope to be, I owe it all to thee. To God be the glory. To God be the glory. To God be the glory for the things He has done. With His blood He has saved me. With His power He has raised me. To God be the glory for the things He has done. Just let me live my life. Let it be pleasing, oh Lord, to Thee. And if I gain any praise, let it go to Calvary, Calvary. With His blood He has saved me. With His power He has raised me. To God be the glory for the things, for the things, for the things that He has done.
Thank you very much. I think that's Mr. Here. Yes, well done. Thank you so very much. We continue our honors. Your Excellency, please. I have a feeling this block of honors is going to move very quickly. I just our feeling. It's going to pick up a little bit more. So let us recognize, yes, thank you. Let us recognize the memory and posthumously the late Mary Thelma Sweetnam. If there's a representative here from that family, we invite you to just come right on up. If not, we will continue to keep it flowing. Mr. Melvin Carvel Seymour. Oh, Sweetnam is here. Okay, thank you. Ms. Sweetnam also served in various areas of the public service, including permanent secretary. And so we remember her contribution. Mr. Melvin Carvel Seymour. Permanent secretary. Mrs. Murtis Geneva Russell. Mrs. Russell is being recognized today for her work in the field of education. Deputy Controller of Customs Nehemiah Raymond Francis. Former Deputy Controller, we remember, in the area of the Customs Department. We remember his work today. Reverend Newton Williamson. Reverend Newton Williamson is being recognized for his work in the field of the Department of Fisheries. Fisherman, businessman, and bonefish guide. We recognize Reverend Williamson. Dr. Nikia Moishi Forbes. I hope I said Moishi Forbes. Dr. Forbes, please. We remember Deputy Controller of Customs, Noreen Yvonne Major, posthumously. Yes, yes. Dr. Patricia Elaine Joan Rogers, public service, diplomat, former permanent secretary. Patrick Ernest Bailey, former Deputy Controller, Customs Department. We remember him posthumously at this time. Mr. Peter DeVoe Isaacs, recognized for his work in public service, former permanent secretary. Mr. Philip Stephen Wish, recognized for his work in the field of the environment, director, the field of the environment, the Department of Environment, consultant and former hydrologist. Mr. Philip Miller, field of public service, former permanent secretary. Oh, yeah. Controller of Customs, Mr. Ralph Berlin Monroe. Please welcome. Mr. Raymond Julian. Reverend Raymond Roosevelt Neely, Pastor Neely. Pastor Neely is being recognized for his work in the church, in religion. Miss Renee Glinton, having worked in various departments in the public service and the former permanent secretary. Dr. Renee Lunell Ferguson Buford. The Reverend Dr. Reuben Edward Cooper, Jr. He's being recognized for his work in the gospel ministry. Dr. Rhonda Sheena Teresa Chipman Johnson. Dr. Johnson is being recognized for her work in tertiary education, administrator, former principal, and having worked at the University of the Bahamas. Mr. Ronald Thompson, having served in public service, having served as a former permanent secretary. Yeah. Deputy Controller of Customs retired, Mr. Roosevelt Anthony Philip Bethel. Mr. Rudolph Alexander Lavarity. Mr. Bethel served as in the area of customs. Mr. Lavarity is recognized for his efforts in sports, purchasing manager, and a professional athlete. Mr. Rudolph Alexander Lavarity. Miss Sheila Gwyneth Carey. Ms. Carey having served in various departments in the public service and a former permanent secretary. Miss Shirley Denise Smith, having served in various departments within the public service and former permanent secretary. Mr. Stevenson Smith, Correctional Services, Assistant Superintendent of Corrections. Mr. Talmadge Raymond Leo Pinder. Mr. Pinder is recognized for his work in the field of fisheries, and I am advised fisheries maintenance. So that's a big area. Mr. Terrence S. Bastian, Auditor General, retired. From the Auditor General's Department. Mrs. Thelma Ferguson Beneby. Her work in public service and former permanent secretary. Mrs. Tonya Bastian Calanes. Mrs. Calanes is recognized for her work in legal education, an attorney at law, of course. Too much. Bishop Washington Williams is being recognized as for his work in religion, gospel artist, leader of the Cooling Waters. The late Wilbur Courtney Preston Major? No? Wilfred Horton, Alexander Horton? Miss Willamay Salke? Salke, yes? Representative here is representing Mrs. Willamay Salke, who served in the public service up to the rank of permanent secretary. Posthumously, we remember Deputy Controller of Customs, William Donzel Blaze Stiles. Can we bring up the next group, please? Bring the next group up, please. Deputy Controller of Customs, retired, Mr. William Edward Poitier. Having served up to the post of former Deputy Controller of Customs. The late Andrea Stephanie Sweeting, Ms. Antoinette Saunders, we recognize at this time. Ms. Antoinette Sanders is being recognized for her work in the Correctional Services Department. Assistant Commissioner. Ms. Carmen Dawkins is being recognized for her work in the Department of Statistics, Deputy Director. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have this opportunity to see a lot of and greet a lot of persons we have not seen for many years. And let's give them a round of applause for making such a giant effort to be with us today. Lots of persons I've not seen for many moons. Miss Carmen Dawkins, Miss Carmen Gomez, Ms. Gomez is also having served in the Department of Statistics. Ms. Clara Lowe, Department of Statistics, Senior Deputy Director. Is he here? Ms. Clarice Turnquest. Statistics, the Department of Statistics, Deputy Director. Mrs. Claretta Denise Cargill Gomez. She here? Ms. Coralie Mackey. Ms. Donna Marie Delancey. Ms. Delancey would have served in the audit and in the Treasury Department as Deputy Accountant General. Mrs. Iris Loretta Williams. Mrs. Williams is recognized for her work in the field of education. Former Deputy Commissioner of Police Ismella Davis Delancey, retired. Mistress Jacqueline Priscilla Barnett Bethel. In the field of education. Mr. Leon Wilson. Miss Miriam L. Curtis. Ms. Curtis, having served also in the Treasury Department, Deputy Accountant General. Mrs. Curtis. Miss Nerissa Casil Gibson. These are all officers of the Order of Distinction. Miss Gibson is with the Department of Statistics. Mr. Ivan Irvin Forbes. Roger Irvin Forbes, having served in the Department of the Auditor General. Mrs. Rosemary C. Pintard Bow. Chief Valuation Officer, Inland Revenue. Mrs. Beverly Wallace Whitfield. Having served as Secretary to the first Governor General as well. Public Service, former Secretary to the Governor General. Miss Brenda Lee Adderley, also in the Department of Statistics, retired at the rank of Assistant Director. Mrs. Cipriana Winters, Department of Statistics. Mr. Eddington Alexander Burrows, please. Mr. Bo is being recognized and was nominated for his work in law enforcement, hospitality, transportation, former police officer, pastor, taxi, and tour driver. Miss Kim Sanders. Miss Kimberly McKinney roll with us? No. Mr. Paul Arena? No, I don't think so. But Miss Sonia Annette Poitier is with us. Miss Poitier at this time. Maybe I will be closer to what they are. Mr. Paul Arena, Mr. Paul Cecil Arena, pilot, aviation services, historian, pilot, and author of Bahamian Heritage History. We have with us Mr. Paul Cecil, and some say Cecil, Arena. So let's give all of the members in that order a round of applause. All of the members in that order we recognize at this time. We now move to order of merit. In the order of merit, we start off with the officer, Randall Colby. Order of companion, should have started with that, Albert Cyril Umbrister. Let's give it up for Defense Force, Border Control, and Marine Officer. Mr. Andrew Johnson, Defense Force Department, Border Control, and Marine Officer. These are all the companion in the order of merit. Androsia Cristina Fernando, recognized for her contributions in arts and culture. Chief Clerk, the Social Services Department. Bishop Arnold Edwin Josie Sr., field of religion, having served in law enforcement and the senior pastor at his church. Miss Cheryl Lenora Carey, being recognized for her work in tertiary education, lecturer at the University of the Bahamas. Mr. Kristen Justilian, musician, arts and culture, musical artist, mentor to young people. No. Mr. Daniel Ferguson, in the area of Defense Force and Border Control, Marine Officer, Mr. Daniel Ferguson. Try to move this quickly. It's 1 o'clock. Diane M. Kemp Dunn, recognized for work in the mortuary services. No, I'm fine. Dr. Emmanuel Wesley Francis. Should read doctor. He is recognized today for his work in dental health services. Dr. Emmanuel Wesley Francis. Force Chief Petty Officer Gary Charles Mackey. Defense Force, Border Control, Marine Officer. Willis George Bethel, communications and finance, telephone exchange teller, and the foreign exchange assistant, Mr. Bethel. Dr. Gia Curry-Williams is being recognized for her work in fashion and fashion designer. She is a fashion designer. Yeah. Mr. Glenroy Derek Arena is being represented. Yes, please. Family Island Development and Building Contractor. I can tell you. Herbert Zacharias Burrows. Mambo Burrows. I can show you in a minute. Just give me a minute. The persons are being recognized now in the order of merit. Force Chief Petty Officer Hubert Milton Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, rounding out the order of merit, Miss Irene Frances Charlton. Let's give Miss Charlton a round of applause. This presentation to Ms. Charlton actually concludes our presentation. Ms. Charlton is being recognized for religion, agriculture. She's a pastor and farmer. Give Ms. Charlton a round of applause. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, let us recognize all of our honorees with a thunderous round of applause as we conclude all of our presentations for this morning's session. As we reflect on the services of our honorees, the many contributions, we will ask the Royal Bahamas Police Force Band to play a number as we organize for our official photographs. And following the official photographs, we will remain for Her Excellency's departure, and then we will go out exit the building. We have light refreshments that we hope you will stay back for a few minutes and remain behind and enjoy. And now the band. And we will now have Mr. Terry Archer and the protocol officials organize us for the official photos. Yes. We will start off. You go ahead, band. You do what you have to do. You can wake it up good. Yeah. We will start with the Order of the Bahamas. All those in the Order of the Bahamas, companion, please come forward. The Honorable Deputy Prime Minister will join the photo, and the Honorable Chief Justice will also join. All of those in the Order of the Bahamas, companion, the Right Honorable.
Well, those are the first honorees, the first in the 2024 National Honors Investiture, receiving their awards from the Governor General today. Now, we told you there are about 385, so there will be another 200 when we return at 5 o'clock. Now, they should continue with the order of merit. A few things I'd like to point out. There are 7 national heroes. They are Dame Doris Johnson, Sir Cecil Wallace Whitfield, Sir Lyndon Pindling, Sir Roland Simonet, Sir Milo Butler, Sir Randall Fox, and Kate Moss, poor Black Kate, as she was known, whose beating and death was so horrific that it paid great attention, caused people in the UK and around the empire at that time to actually pay serious attention to the horrors of slavery, and in a way helped to start the end of slavery here in the Bahamas and throughout the empire. So about 180 people receiving theirs today, and those are the members of the Order of the Bahamas, which is the most senior rank under national hero, receiving their official photograph, taking their official photograph today. And that really brings this broadcast for this morning to an end. And we will be back at 5 with the second group of Bahamians who are receiving national honors, and we hope that you will join us then. Until then, on behalf of my producer, Antonio Coakley, I'm Julian Reed. Enjoy your Heroes Day.
The fishing industry in the Bahamas brings in billions of dollars to the Bahamian economy annually. Behind these billions are the men and women quietly working the aquamarine waters. These fishermen depend on healthy, thriving marine environment to support their families.
I've been a fisherman from childhood. I grew up with my old man inside the boating industry.
Well, I've been a fisherman. I've been fishing different areas for about 30 years.
The Bahamas is renowned for having one of the most prosperous fishing industries in the Caribbean. Though the industry seems to be booming, fishermen are concerned about a decline in both the amount of fish and the size of fish.
Today and in the previous years, you would have to say, well, it's not the same. Say 10 years ago, fishing was very lucrative. You could have fished for 6 months. And, you come in with thousands of pounds. You could come in with 10,000 pounds. Now you come in with 3,000, 2,500 pounds. Sometimes if you have a good, you might come up with 6,000 pounds, but it's not like years ago when you come in at 14,000 pounds with lobster traps. So you know, I mean, it's changed big time.
Bahamians can still reliably make a living off the sea, despite this apparent decline in fishery resources. A few years ago, Florida fishermen observed a gradual decline in the queen conch fishery. Without proper management, the queen conch fishery has collapsed in Florida and has yet to recover. Further south, in Jamaica, fishermen observed a similar decline in their marine life. To help protect the livelihoods of Bahamian fishermen, the Nature Conservancy traveled with the Bahamas Commercial Fishing Alliance and the Bahamas Fly Fishing Industry Association representatives to an international science conference in Corpus Christi, Texas. This trip connected experienced marine scientists, fellow fishermen from across the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico, fishery managers, and industry leaders from across the region. 5 Bahamian fishermen participated in this Fisher Learning Exchange at the 66th Annual Gulf and Caribbean Fisheries Institute Conference. This was a rare opportunity for major stakeholders to sit at one table to identify issues and collectively suggest how to address these issues, to share lessons learned, and celebrate best practices.
When I went for the exchange in Texas, I hope to gain a lot of experience from other countries and what they're dealing with, so that I can bring back here to my hometown to say, well, okay, well, these are what people doing in Texas or down in Guyana or Jamaica or whatever this and that.
I had hoped mainly to learn some of the different techniques that they use in fishing, see what types of fish they fish for, and compare the ways they fish with them compared to the way we fish for the same species here, as well as I wanted to have an idea of what they had in terms of stocks in particular species compared to what we had here in the Bahamas.
They have a system called a tag system. You can actually track your product wherever it goes. So when they pack these stuff, each one of those fish has a tag. So wherever they go, in whichever part of the world that they go, you can actually track your product. And I think also it boosts the value.
The Bahamian group had the opportunity to speak directly with the fishermen from the Gulf Coast and learn about their daily operations, including the vessels they operate and sustainable fishery methods that they employ. Additionally, the group visited one of Texas's well-known marine protected areas, Padre Island, to see how it operates and the benefits of this designated area.
I always thought marine protected areas were very important, realizing what we have, what those guys had and don't have now, and realizing that we still have an opportunity to preserve a lot of what we have or not allow it to slip away from us.
After seeing what Padre Island had, I think that the Bahamas could do similar things to generate funds. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, you know, with their own crafts, souvenirs, you know, and you could turn them into, you know, like print shirts and so on. Like, you know, we have like Exuma Land and Sea Park, like stuff like that. You know, they have the shirts that you could sell, and you know, they have them here. I think it can.
Well, we can use our straw market where we sell all these Bahamian-made wares and stuff, but we can do it at these marine protected areas. We can do it at on a much smaller scale, and we do it in an environmentally friendly way, but we allow Bahamians to sell Bahamian-made craft, again, in an environmentally friendly way, but we allow them an opportunity to profit in a real big way from this.
Establishing marine protected areas and performing other marine management activities are common internationally. In the Bahamas, the Nature Conservancy is working with conservation partners and the government to help protect the livelihoods of fishermen by researching which areas should be protected and consulting with fishermen and other stakeholders about how to protect these areas. All stakeholders, including community members, fishermen, and the government, must be actively involved in efforts to help maintain a healthy environment to ensure the sustainability of our marine resources.
We are lucky here in the Bahamas because what I've learned in other countries, like their fishing is like depleted, especially Jamaica, and down in other parts of the islands, you know, but here we still have an opportunity to sustain what we have here. You know, if everybody would get together, work together, you know, and try and sustain our fishermen. The way I feel now about the marine protected areas now, I think they're good, they're great. I mean, for example, Belize. You know what I mean, you know, Belize now is one of the #1 place for nice, beautiful reefs. And, you know, before that, years ago, it wasn't.